Welcome to this module titled Professional Communication, as designed and produced by the Region 11 Service Center. In this presentation, you'll learn about specific types of professional communication that's needed to conduct academic discourse with educators, students, and parents. Also, you'll want to grab your copy of The First Days of School by Harry and Rosemary Wong, as we refer to content in the book. At the conclusion of this course, you'll have an opportunity to demonstrate your understanding of this data learning objective by participating in a demonstration lab, sponsored by Region 11 Certification Team. During the mini lesson, you'll dress professionally and use 3 to 4 nonverbal communication skills. In addition, you'll aim to use 3 to 4 verbal skills and all 3 written communication skills. Check out this rubric to see how those areas are measured. Alright, let's get started. In this first section of the lesson, we will discuss aspects of professional communication. There's nonverbal communication, which includes eye contact, posture, facial expressions, crossing arms and legs, and appropriate dress. There's also components of verbal communication, which include tone, speed, and clarity. In addition to verbal and nonverbal, there is written communication that includes using proper grammar, spelling, and punctuation. Pause the video here and read pages 54 and 55 from The First Days of School. As a professional educator, one dresses for the following effects: respect, acceptance, credibility, and authority. In order to dress for respect, the professional educator dresses to fit both the image and expectations of the school district. These expectations may be explicitly addressed in the district's dress code, or may be implicitly expressed by the principal and his or her dress on the campus. Acceptance in professional dress allows a professional to add pieces of jewelry, scarves, or ties that reflect personal touches and interests to the outfit. Dressing for credibility requires that the professional dress for professionalism rather than comfort. Jeans, gym clothing, or other casual attire are not appropriate for the workplace. Finally, when dressing for authority, educators dress in dark colors with conservative lines. So, what does dressing for success in a school look like? Well, with these basic tips in your district campus dress code, you'll be dressed for respect, credibility, authority, and acceptance. Think about how you can dress to reflect these attributes. Pause the video here and read pages 72 to 73 from The First Days of School. So what nonverbal communication achieves maximum effectiveness? Well, nonverbal communication consists largely of the speaker's use of eye contact, posture, facial expressions, and consciously avoiding the appearance of hostility or disinterest. When the speaker makes eye contact with the audience, he or she appears trustworthy and engaged. Facial expressions also provide nonverbal cues that can influence others' perceptions. As mentioned in The First Days of School, facial expressions need to encourage the audience to feel at ease and willing to participate when necessary. Speaker with positive posture, with shoulders pulled back and back straight, conveys confidence to the audience. Avoid appearing hostile or disinterested by crossing your arms or legs. If you do this while presenting, you can unintentionally send a message to the audience that you're unhappy, disinterested, or closed to the ideas being discussed. Along with nonverbal communication, we have verbal communication, which, of course, is the use of voice to convey ideas. Aspects to consider with verbal communication include the tone, speed, clarity, and even pausing. The tone and volume of a teacher's voice is a powerful tool that often contains an emotional weight to it. Tone allows the listener to infer what the speaker finds important and how he or she feels about the topic. The rate of speed is another consideration that teachers must adjust in certain situations. Clarity, enunciation, and selection of vocabulary help clarify the intended message and make ideas more comprehensible. Speaker carefully selects vocabulary that's appropriate for the audience. Finally, an effective speaker will pause and listen at times to give the audience time to think, time to ask questions, and will listen effectively in order to facilitate discourse. At last, after professional dress, verbal communication, and nonverbal communication, we have written communication. Written communication requires the teacher use proper grammar, correct spelling, and appropriate punctuation. Editing is a must when sending emails, creating PowerPoints, or sending letters home. Even adults should check their work. Let's take a moment to review. Can you identify the types of communication we've discussed? Think about why these forms of communication are important to consider as a teacher. At this time, please pause the video and read page 18 in the first days of school. In the reading, teachers are encouraged to be collegial. What does that mean? Basically, teachers need to be able and willing to collaborate with one another. Collaboration builds relationships, and it helps create an environment of learning and growth for teachers. Friendly and courteous behavior are a necessity of working closely with others and strengthen the culture of the campus. Consider your tone and volume. They're also important in creating an optimum working environment, because it isn't always what's said, but how it's said. Finally, gossip has no place on a school campus. Such behavior can irrevocably damage adult relationships. Don't participate in gossip and avoid others who do. Please pause the video now and read pages 69 to 71 in the first days of school. In the book, special attention is paid to respectful language as well as body language. When interacting with students, teachers model the respect they expect. They use please and thank you as well as calling the students by name. Names are important, and using the student's name makes a student feel valued. Tone, again, is also important in communicating with students. Your tone should be calm and reassuring, and using body language that's comforting, such as a smile, helps the student feel safe in the learning environment. When a student feels valued and safe, trust is built, which is necessary to facilitate commitment to learning tasks. Pause the video and read one final segment in the first days of school on page 60. Effective teachers find ways to build relationships with parents. The teacher has to be deliberately inviting. An inviting interaction is one in which a parent is treated with respect. Actions such as greeting a parent at the front door of the school when they show up and walking with them to a meeting location shows that you value their presence. And if there's a concern, the teacher's got to listen to understand. As a professional, it's important to keep a record of communication with parents. Make use of a communication log that includes the name of the parent and the child, the topic discussed, the date, and if there's going to be a follow-up meeting. Parents are key partners in the schooling process, so treat interactions as opportunities to move forward rather than expressing negativity from the past. Alright, remember, at the conclusion of this course, you'll have an opportunity to demonstrate understanding of the stated learning objective by participating in a demonstration lab, which is sponsored by a Region 11 certification team. In this course, you've learned about different types of communication, as well as ways to communicate with students, parents, and colleagues. As you prepare for your demonstration lab, you may want to refer to pages 54 to 55 in the first days of school, as well as check over the proficiency rubric to determine what clothing to wear in order to dress for success. Also, script what you'll say during your lesson and practice. You may even want to consider recording yourself so you can analyze your verbal and nonverbal cues. Remember to check anything you've written for the presentation to ensure that it's written following proper grammar, punctuation, and spelling rules. Show us that air of confidence, and of course, remember to smile. Thank you for watching this module titled Professional Communication. Good luck and feel free to review this at any time as you prepare for your upcoming mini lesson. This course referred to content published in the first days of school by Harry and Rosemary Wong. Images were downloaded from Pixabay.